It's another Manly Monday, and this Manly Monday, yes, it is raining, and my hair is a fucking nightmare, but I have a Kratos shirt, so that's good. Any day where I wear a Kratos shirt is a good day. We are talking, and maybe the Kratos shirt is appropriate for this, but we are talking about strength versus arrogance. And I'm talking about this, it wasn't what I originally wanted to talk about, but when I was looking up, the science about various things about attractive qualities in men, it's all over the place. And depending on where you look and depending on the year the study was done, there's different findings. But one thing that was relatively consistent is that people, and I'm trying to make this as gender neutral as possible because not straight men are men, trans men are men, non-binary men are men. We don't do that yeah but here. How is somebody a non-binary male? Assigned male at birth, non-binary. Okay. If you associate with the masculine sphere at all, you are a man for the purposes of this conversation. And quite frankly, I think this goes for everybody. The idea that strength, good, arrogance, bad. And obviously there's sort of this performative masculine arrogance and this performative feminine arrogance. And I find that when we talk to, I'm going to be careful with words here, but when I talk to guys in sort of the gaming, the sort of sci-fi nerd spaces, guys tend to center arrogant women instead of strong women. And there's this performative arrogance that is displayed in these spaces that just screams weakness, at least to anybody who is actually strong. And, obviously, guys, you're looking for a strong partner, not an arrogant partner, right? Because arrogant people aren't fun to be around. So I'm going to talk about ways you might be, sending off things that are making you seem arrogant. You might be confusing arrogance for strength. This is all really important. It's really nuanced. So hear me out here. We're all going to remain calm, right? We're going to be strong. We're going to be centered. Deep breath. Let it out. Help support this channel. Become a monthly patron. Patreon.com/LeannaK. Or buy a one-time Leanna Care session for someone who can use it but can't afford it. Coffee.com/LeannaK. And like and subscribe to this channel if you like this content. That was all done in one breath. That was all an exhale. Go me lung capacity. Functional asthmatics for the win. So that was a flex, right? I was showing off breath control there, but that wasn't arrogant because I actually did it. Arrogance is feeling the need to make yourself more than what you are, having a false certainty, having a false bravado, strength, real, arrogance, false. That's sort of the TLDR here. That if you are going to present yourself as strong, there has to be a confidence to it. And when you are losing your shit and can't take, how do I put this? Can't take adversity, can't take pushback. You are not showing yourself to be strong. You are showing yourself to be arrogant. And yes, women do this too. A lot of the commentary about men that you see on social media is profoundly arrogant. The 666 and all that. It's like, sure, that's an awesome thing for these influencers to get out there and say because it pokes at people's insecurities and therefore gets rage clicks. This is part of the reason I prefer to show up here with frizzy hair and minimal makeup instead of going full glam because I am looking to be judged on the strength of my opinions, not how much time I spend in the bathroom. Also, I spend my time doing meaningful things like mental health stuff. There's an event that's gonna happen August 23rd. If you're in the Toronto area, more on that on Wellness Wednesday. If it firms up, I'm not sure. It's all coming together very, very fast. But, that's how I choose to spend my time, not on this, which I acknowledge is a monstrosity right now. But seriously, who cares? That's somebody who has a confidence to them. Somebody who puts in some effort, but doesn't have to be right all the time. Someone who doesn't have to be in charge all the time. Someone who doesn't have to get what they want all the time and first. A truly strong person will give a little. You will notice that when people tend to come at me, I'll be, make your case, right? You got my attention. You got the floor. Make your case. Prove it. And it's amazing how many people just sort of choke there and they resort to like nasty name calling. And to me, that is just a combination of, weakness to the point of cowardice. And, it's a certain amount of arrogance that they decided to take the swing in the first place. Now, I think some of that is sort of false because people are used to showing up on, comment sections and streamers, and they just do dumb shit posting crap and get ignored. And I don't do that for a reason, because I want people to recognize your words matter. I want people to know that I see your comments. I take your comments to heart. I respond to your comments. And that's so, make them high quality. Be persuasive. Don't just be a dick. And I've been thinking a lot, and, I should stop saying that because that's an insult to dicks. Dicks have a purpose, even if it's just to go pee. I digress. Or maybe not. Maybe this is on point. Anyway, let's just roll back. Anyway, so I have been thinking a lot about people who just insist on hurling insults and being nasty. And I know how I interpret people who do that. And I'm pretty sure it's not how they want to come across. Because I interpret people who just result to being assholes. Assholes have a purpose too. But, something with no purpose that also stinks. The way I see it is they don't have a point. They have no hope. They have internalized this sense of being pathetic losers. Apologize to people who don't think we're pathetic. And so they just spew shit on the internet. And that one I'll stand by because shit is a waste product that smells bad. Instead of going, you know what? Somebody might see this. I might have the opportunity to persuade someone here. And people who, are strong themselves tend to listen to people who, one, seem to understand what they're talking about, two, attempt to persuade instead of insult or bully. And so I'm going to present my side of things in a confident and secure manner, that there is strength, right? It's not needing to be perfect. That's why the speech, the Superman speech near the end of the movie is so like, mwah, James Gunn, mature man, wrote this script, good man. I have a crypto cup. I'm very excited by my crypto cup. There he is. Crypto. I went to 3 movies. Well, somebody went to 3 movie theaters first. I went to 2 movie theaters and didn't get it. Someone went to another one and got me a crypto cup. So I'm very excited. But the character point in the Superman movie that he took in this dog that was ruining his damn life. I relate to that, but also character point, right? Because it's like, we can get through this. It's cool, right? Okay, the dog's not a good dog, but, he doesn't have anybody. That there is strength. That there is an ability to get through adversity. That there is a confidence, right? As opposed to arrogance, which is what Lex Luthor shows of, I'm going to be the one to take down Superman, and I'm going to do this villain speech about envy with both complete self-awareness and yet no recognition that this is not strength. Because strength comes from this idea that I'm good enough. And this, might be, I don't know about this, because I've been thinking that what makes me so different from other ostensibly women, right? And part of it is I don't have anything to prove. I've never felt that I have anything to prove in terms of status as a woman. Because I'm just a person, right? Like, what is this shit? Why does, say, a model rank higher in society than a kindergarten teacher? Some people would say they don't. Exactly. And so if you see guys who constantly have to be around models and treat their kid's kindergarten teacher like shit, well, maybe those guys don't exist, but you know what I mean? Just a hypothetical. I would not see that man as quality, and that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with models. Modeling is a job. I've done it. It's a hard job. It's a skill. And I think that if we treated the more feminine coded tasks or vocations as things that require just as much skill as more, masculine coded vocations, I think we'd get a better balance of things, because people think, being a kindergarten teacher is easy if you like kids. No, you can like kids more than anyone else on the planet. But when you've got 15 of them and, 8 of them are acting up that day, it takes skill and it takes tenacity to get through it. But also, every modeling pose that y'all think is so sexy, that kind of stuff, the duck face, the fierce, I'm obviously goofing on it, right? Every single modeling pose out there that is seen as hot, as someone who's done it, you're in the right place when it hurts. So that sexy picture that you drool over or you fap to, that woman is in pain in that moment. Those poses are not natural. In order to get that look, you actually have to extend your neck to the point that you feel pain in your shoulders. Those poses are not, natural resting posture. They're hyper feminine. The same way if you ever go to a bodybuilding show, those the poses, all that stuff. If you go to a bodybuilding show, guys pass out on stage. Like, these are endurance sports. These are not natural beauty. Whereas when you do art modeling, which I've also done, you need usually a either 90-second or 2-minute pose a 5-minute pose, and then a 15-minute pose. And your quick pose, I like to do interesting things with my hands because hands are hard to draw, but I got to be able to hold that for 2 minutes, right? And I got real good at holding that for 2 minutes without shaking. And, you know, people doing art courses love me because I do this weird foreshortening and all that stuff because that's what they're trying to practice, the difficult things. But those are quick sketches. 5, you've got to be much simpler in your pose. Like, I would not have my hands like that for 5 minutes. But you're 15, you have to find something. That's why you see so many poses of a woman just draping, right? Because your muscles have to be relaxed. You learn how to do it so it's pretty, right? But your muscles have to be relaxed because holding still for 15 minutes, if you are in any sort of strain, your muscles will cramp. You're still tired at the end of the 15, but what pose I would do in an art modeling session is completely different than the pose I would do in like a pinup modeling session. They are not the same. And when you know this stuff, when you've done it, all of a sudden the freaking model fierceness is so much less sexy. You know, and what becomes sexy is a girl curled up reading a book, you know, because that's just your natural habitat. And when someone's confident, they're not pulled in by a lot of these, you know, gimmicks. And that ties into what people said on Friday about, guys kind of rejecting the as they said, gooner games on their own as being low quality. And I agree that as people mature, that kind of stuff means less and less. And okay, that means that people who had really rough high school years still have the pain of that to work through. That's possible. I work with people every day to do it. If you want to sign up for a session, link in the description box below. But it is true. The reason I find so much of this online nonsense from everybody, you know, by that I mean all the groups, like men, women, gay, straight, non-binary, trans, whatever, the bullshit that gets slung here. It's not life. Because on social media, everybody's crammed in together. And it's that idea of, well, you have to eat my shit because free speech. That's not how free speech works. Freedom of speech comes with freedom from speech. You're allowed to say whatever you want. No one is required to listen to you. And when you internalize that, the arrogance level goes down and the strength level goes up. Because you start going, yeah, I don't have to eat shit from people. But people don't have to eat shit from me either. So let's not dole out the shit. Common sense, right? And the most attractive thing you can show as anybody, quite frankly, but, you know, for people watching this content, we're going to focus on men, is that confidence. Stop thinking about it as strength. Start thinking about it as confidence, because strength is the ability to project force. And that's exactly what women are looking for red flags regarding. A confident person will not feel the need to get overly aggressive. Why? Because there's no threat. You know, a lot of people last week said to me, I have no idea why you take the shit you do. And I pretty much know why. I mean, one woman on the internet who doesn't conform to a certain standard. You know, I don't have a blowout or false eyelashes, right? I don't have any injectables or surgery. Well, I had my appendix out, my wisdom teeth out, my knee done. That's the surgery I've had, right? But I am not about that. And some people are offended by women who show up with frizzy hair. Oh, well, there's a reason I don't do that. That's not who I'm tailoring my content to. But don't you want to be popular? No, I don't. I've never understood that. I want quality people subscribe to my content. I don't want quantity, because my whole business is about people wanting better for themselves, people wanting better than the unending misery, people who don't want to wake up every morning and feel like the world hates them, people who believe that there is more to life than that. You can actually be happy. That's my target. And everybody else, it's not that I don't care. I want better for them, but people got to be ready. I can't force them, you know? And that confidence, that strength was hard earned. And my big concern about the way the internet works is you can't even get jobs in other media now until you have a presence on the internet. And I think a lot of women who aren't like primarily looks focused, they're so terrified of the shit that they won't try. And I think there's a lot of men like that too. Though the reaction to men liking stuff has been humbling in a good way, because I know guys who are very, very shy, to put it lightly, who are like, I want to do the next one. And that makes me so happy, because that's how joyous it was. That's the power of men liking stuff, right? That was the whole point. And that's when you step forward and say, I like this, or I like this person. I'm standing next to that person. Gimli the shit out of that. You have my axe, right? That is strength. That is universally recognized as strength. When you step forward when everybody else steps back. Now, some people could say sometimes that's stupidity. Why not both, right? And I'm joking. It's not stupidity. I mean, there are times that I have to say things that I know are going to be unpopular. One, because I truly believe them. Two, because counter to the people that call me stupid and uninformed, I actually do know what I'm talking about. And the number of times it has been under a month from getting fucking dog pile brigaded on something to something happening and me going, you see? And very few people go, yeah, you were right. But the people that do, there's a strength in those people. There is a reward for admitting you're wrong. There is a reward for admitting you don't know something. There is a reward for shutting up and listening when it's appropriate. There is a reward for not needing to be the smartest guy or person in the room. And that is that the high quality people, the strong people, the quite frankly dominant people will see that and respect it. Because if you've ever hung around very rich, very successful, very confident people, and there are a lot of rich, successful, not confident people, but the confident ones, they admit they don't know shit. God, the number of people, and unfortunately I had to tell them that, you know, they pulled me in because they, hey, you like video games, what is this esports? And I had to tell them, like, sorry, the market's saturated. Like, trying to get involved in this is not a good idea at this time. But, you know, they appreciated that I didn't go, oh yeah, we can do it, so I got their money. I was honest with them. And a truly confident person will go, oh, okay. You know, they'll listen. And of course, esports had a pretty big contraction after that happened. You know, leagues started shutting down and things like that. So, you know, it's good to be right, but not in that way. You know, I didn't want to be right there, but that's the thing. people who are confident in what they do know will seek out people that know stuff that they don't. If someone they respect has a different opinion on something, they will listen instead of going, with respect, I think you're uninformed. That's not respectful at all, bro. Like, no. You're assuming something that is not true. Just because I don't agree with you doesn't mean I'm not informed. And just because you missed the contradictions in something doesn't mean I did. With respect. Like, does that really feel respectful? No, so don't do that. If you're going to start something with respect, you're shit. Don't do that. You know, the strongest thing you can do is, one, state your case without judgment of the other person. That's going to make you so much more popular with women. Just, well, this is why I think what I do. And if they disagree with you, the most charming thing you can do is go, oh, really? That's interesting. Tell me more. Right? Instead of going, well, I'm just saying my opinion. That's the weakest saw shit in the world. Because opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. A lot of them stink. Why is your opinion not a smelly one? Right? And the truth is, I don't think my opinion is terribly important. I will give it because I find an issue interesting. And so I don't feel the need to insult people who don't agree with me. I'll critique someone who behaves badly, but that's not the same. I find, people who have different opinions on things interesting because these are complicated subjects and no one knows for certain. There is no certainty here. And I love things with no certainty because then we can have creativity. Then we can have heterodoxy. That's awesome. Amazing, right? And the fact that that is so rare just strikes me because it doesn't have to be that way, right? Like in a better world, people would go, I'm going to let you have your opinion. And here's mine. And it's amazing to me how many conversations I have with people, and they get pretty intense sometimes, but they get upset at the disagreement. And I'll say, in truth, I think we actually agree on a lot more than you think. And it's amazing how many people go, yeah, I think you're right. But somebody had to say it. That's strength right there. That, if you can do that, it'll be amazing. The higher quality of person that you'll attract, because if you're not the freaking physical description the girls on TikTok claim they want, well, then they're not going to appreciate you. Have some strength. Don't just go, oh my God, I'm not what women want. You're not what that woman wants. But that woman ain't worth your time. She's shallow, man. And she's probably insecure, which is why she needs to be arm candy for some beefcake to prove to herself that she's a proper woman. I never understood that. I will do that job because pinup modeling, but it always felt, I don't know, transactional and weird. I did it because it was so artificial. I wanted to understand it. Believe it or not, a lot of the weird racy shit I've done in my career, like anything involving nudity or like hypersexuality or anything like that, I did it to see what it was like. And I wish more people would do that because it ain't what you think. So when I come here, pardon the pun, and talk about sexualized content, I'm not coming at it, pardon the pun, as someone who is above it or thinks it's gross. I'm someone who's done pinup calendars and, like I said, art modeling and things that involve nudity and, interviewed porn stars and done Playboy Radio back in the day and all that stuff. I'm not judging it from the outside. I'm talking about it as somebody with a modicum of experience. So I am confident enough and feel strongly enough about, my subject matter knowledge that I don't have to get all weird and defensive and go, this causes harm. I was like, well, everything in its place. I really like cinnamon, but the cinnamon challenge is dumb. Hi, Scout. So when you're doing that, I'm being attacked, the industry is against us, I'm being harassed, that is a form of arrogance. It is. You're calling attention to yourself in your victimhood, and anybody who does it, I can't stand that. I don't care if it's women, I don't care if it's men. I will say, yeah, guys, this is bullshit, what you're doing, but this whole, I'm afraid of what? Shitty comments on the internet? You're gonna have to do better than that. Please don't. It's a waste of everyone's time. But, that shit is arrogant. That you're stupid, or what's wrong with you? That is arrogance to covering up a really deep insecurity and not well. Don't do that. Real strength is polite. Real strength is reasoned. Real strength doesn't require those judgments because you're confident enough not only to stay balanced if somebody comes at you that way, but, you're also, you're pretty sure you're right. And so you're okay that this other person is wrong. The strongest person out there is not going around picking fights to show how strong they are. That's what the person trying to take a run at the person higher up the hierarchy does. Right? So if you're constantly out there fighting, you're showing you're not top dog. And the not to give certain quarters of the internet any undue credit, but there's something to the whole Sigma male thing, right? I think a lot of people who sort of embrace the whole Sigma male thing ain't, because you're calling attention to yourself. But the people of all genders who can just go, yeah, it's cool, I'm doing my thing. The lone wolf element, no, we know that's not healthy. Somebody that can be happy as part of a group, someone that can be happy as, alone. That's what you're looking for. You shouldn't need to be a loner to reject the bullshit in society. You can just go, yeah, this stuff's here. I don't love it, but whatever. Other people do, and that's good. That's strength. When you can let go of a certain amount of control because you feel secure, you feel stable. That's when the opportunities start coming. That's when the good people start coming into your life, because you're not vibrating insecurity. Right. Help support this channel. Become a monthly patron. Patreon.com/Leanna K. Or buy a one-time Leanna Care session for someone who can use it but can't afford it. Coffee.com/Leanna K. Both of these get you into the Discord at the beginning of next month. Welcome to the people who joined the Discord. We got a few signups this time. Very exciting all the time. Thanks for watching Manly Monday. Like and subscribe if you like this content.